Ghostly tales, yet mirrors of human life. Hey everyone! Welcome to Encountering Chinese, Ghostly Tales from Zhai. Today, I'm going to tell you a story called Haishi. In the Putai region, there was a man named Haishi. At the age of 14, he came to Binzhou to escape the war. In Binzhou, Haishi became classmates with a local student named Liu Tsanka, and their friendship was so strong that they became sworn brothers. Soon after, Haishi received the news of his parents' death and rushed back home for the funeral. After that, he lost contact with Liu Tsanka. Liu Tsanka came from a wealthy family and, at the age of 40, had 2 sons. His eldest son, named Liu Ji, was a renowned scholar in the county at the age of 17. The younger son was also exceptionally intelligent. Later, Liu Tsanka took a woman from the Nei family in the county as a concubine and favored her greatly. After 6 months, Liu Ji suddenly fell ill with a severe headache and soon passed away, leaving Liu Tsanka and his wife in deep sorrow. Not long after, his wife also fell seriously ill and passed away. A few months later, Liu Ji's widow also died, and the maids and servants in the household died one after another under mysterious circumstances. Liu Tsanka mourned incessantly, overwhelmed by the unbearable pain of losing his family members. One day, Liu Tsanka was sitting at home, feeling anxious when suddenly, the gatekeeper came to report that Liu Haishi had arrived. Delighted to hear about his good friend's visit, Liu Tsanka quickly went out to personally welcome Liu Haishi into his home. Just as Liu Tsanka was about to inquire about Liu Haishi's well-being, Liu Haishi, in surprise, asked him, "Brother, you are facing a disaster. Don't you know?" Astonished by his words, Liu Tsanka was unsure why he would say such a thing. Liu Haishi continued, "We haven't communicated for a long time, but I always felt that your situation might not be good." Hearing this, Liu Tsanka shed tears and proceeded to narrate the events that had occurred in his family over the past 6 months. Liu Haishi listened, also moved to tears. After a while, Liu Haishi smiled and said, "Your family's calamity is not over yet. I originally intended to come to mourn you, but luckily, I arrived early, and you haven't passed away yet. Now, with my presence, it can be considered a blessing in misfortune." Liu Tsanka asked, "We haven't seen each other for a long time. Have you become proficient in some medical skills?" Liu Haishi replied, "I'm not skilled in medicine, I just know a bit about divination and feng shui. I believe my skills in these areas are not bad." Pleased to hear this, Liu Tsanka asked Liu Haishi to help examine the feng shui of his residence to determine whether it was auspicious or inauspicious. Liu Haishi entered Liu Tsanka's residence and carefully examined every nook and cranny. Afterward, he requested to see all the members of Liu Tsanka's family. Following his instructions, Liu Tsanka gathered his sons, daughters-in-law, concubines, servants, and maidservants in the living room. As Liu Tsanka introduced each person, when he pointed to the concubine Nei, Liu Haisher suddenly looked up and burst into laughter. Amidst the astonishment of everyone, Nei trembled all over, turned pale, and her body rapidly shrank until she was only a little over 2 feet tall. Following this, Liu Haisher used a measuring ruler to strike her head, producing a sound similar to hitting a clay pot. Liu Haisher then grabbed Nei's hair, inspected the back of her head, and found several white hairs. He attempted to pull them out, but Nei, kneeling and crying, pleaded with him not to remove the white hairs. Furious, Liu Haisher said, "It seems your malicious intent hasn't died." Saying this, he proceeded to pluck all the white hairs from the back of Nei's head. Immediately, Nei transformed into a black marten-like creature. Everyone present was shocked by this extraordinary turn of events. Liu Haisher put the marten-like creature into his sleeve and then said to Liu Tsanka, "Your daughter-in-law is deeply poisoned, and there must be anomalies on her back. Can you allow me to take a look?" The daughter-in-law felt extremely embarrassed and refused to undress to reveal her back. Liu Tsanka's son insisted, and when she undressed, several white hairs were indeed found on her back, each about 4 fingers in length. Liu Haisher used a needle to remove the white hairs and then said to everyone, "These hairs have matured. If they are not removed, your daughter-in-law will be beyond cure in 7 days." Liu Haisher also examined Liu Tsanka's son and found white hairs on his back, about 2 fingers in length. He told Liu Tsanka, "Although it's not severe yet, in a little over a month, your son will also be beyond saving." Liu Haisher continued to check others and found that Liu Tsanka, as well as all his maids and servants, had grown white hairs. While plucking the hairs, Liu Haisher remarked, "If I hadn't come today, in a while, no one in your family would have survived." Liu Tsanka asked, "What kind of creature has harmed us?" Liu Haisher replied, "It's a kind of fox-like spirit. It nourishes its soul by absorbing people's essence, eventually causing sudden death." Liu Tsanka said, "I didn't expect that after such a long time, you would become so capable. Have you become an immortal?" Liu Haisher smiled and said, "I've only learned a bit of trivial skills from my master. How dare I claim to be an immortal?" Liu Tsanka then asked who his master was, and Liu Haisher said, "He is called Daoist Shancher. The marten-like creature you saw just now, I currently cannot kill it. I will hand it over to my master for disposal when I return." After Liu Haisher finished speaking, he was about to take his leave. Suddenly, he felt his sleeve was empty and exclaimed, "The little creature has escaped. There was still a big hair on its tail that I hadn't plucked, and now it has run away." Everyone was shocked upon hearing this. Liu Haisher said, "I've plucked all the hair on its neck. It shouldn't be able to transform into a human again. Now, it can only transform into an animal, and I believe it hasn't gone far." So, Liu Haisher began to inspect the cats in Liu Tsanka's house and checked the dogs outside, but found no abnormalities. When he opened the pigsty door, Liu Haisher smiled and said, "It's here." Liu Tsanka looked and saw that there was inexplicably an additional pig in the pigsty. As soon as the pig heard Liu Haishi's laughter, it lay on the ground, not daring to move. Liu Haishi grabbed its ears and pulled it out, carefully examining its tail. Indeed, there was a white hair on the pig's tail, as hard as a needle. Just as Liu Haishi was about to pull out the white hair, the pig broke free from his grasp, rolled on the ground, and kept whimpering, refusing to let Liu Haishi pull the hair. Liu Haishi said, "You've caused the death of so many people, and now you refuse to let me pluck one hair from you?" After saying that, he grabbed the pig and successfully plucked out the hair. In an instant, the pig transformed back into the marten-like creature. Liu Haishi put the creature back into his sleeve, prepared to bid farewell again. Liu Sanka earnestly tried to persuade him to stay, and Liu Haishi stayed for a meal. Before leaving, Liu Sanka asked when he could come again, and Liu Haishi said, "I can't be certain about that. My master previously made a grand vow for me to travel around and help those who are suffering. But I believe we will meet again in the future." After Liu Haishi left, Liu Sanka carefully pondered the name of Liu Haishi's master. Suddenly, he realized and said to his family, "I suspect Liu Haishi has probably become an immortal by now. His master's Dharma name is none other than the famous immortal Lui Dongbin." Alright. That's all for today's ghostly tale. Liu Haishi. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please also encourage everyone to comment and share more. We'll see you in the next episode.